What's up, y'all? It's Jonathan Rollins here to update you on the latest from this father-son trip across the U.S. with me and my boy Bash. All right, I'm gonna head down to Miami after a wonderful time in Virginia Beach. But this time it's gonna be a nice road trip with the family. I was really looking forward to that. We had a little sample of it from Maryland to Virginia, but this one's gonna be a bit longer, a full day trip, and now 4 of us, the entire family, riding down to Florida to drop this camper that's been a member of the family. Maverick is his name. It's been real, but now it's time to head on down and drop this thing off. Of course, when we stopped for dinner, the kids were making the best of it.
As you guys see, I have this. I will put it on my hand. Check.
Let's see what it is. Butt burning hot sauce, habanero.
I've already tried that one in my first one.
And this one is the hotter one. All right, go ahead.
Hot sauce videos.
Okay.
Remember, kids, don't do this when your parents are home.
How's it feel?
Kind of hot.
It's kind of hot.
You try. Now, today, kids, my dad's gonna try the hot. Wait. Do this when your parents.
All right, here we go. It's hot. It's flavorful though. It tastes good, but it's really spicy. He wanted to do his own type of show. I think he's inspired by this project to have his own type of entertainment. He had his little hot sauce going, and Allie's always a good sidekick, so that was fun. And we were keeping counting. Bash has been now to over 20 states. I told him that he's seen more of America than a lot of Americans, so he should be proud of that fact. Before making it all the way to Florida, we stopped in Georgia, basically 2 hours outside of Orlando, where we'd be dropping the van off. We found us a camping spot, and it was gonna be cool to camp with the family. So we all got to camp together. Bash wanted to show off his fire making skills now that he knows how to make a fire. So that was cool too. Alex was excited to sleep in the tent up top, so she was gonna stay up there with me. Bash was gonna stay down in the bed with mommy in the van. First things first, we get tidied up and brush our teeth and all of that stuff as a family. And it just warmed my heart to be able to do something like that. We got up the next morning, made that trip to Orlando, dropped the van off. A little bittersweet. I'm gonna miss this thing. It was wonderful. Thank you for helping me spend that time with my son. It was just as I imagined when I found out about paternity leave. I got to use it with you, buddy. Thanks. His name's Maverick. Thanks, Maverick. He just winked. Did you see it? Oh, he winked at me. Gonna miss you, Maverick. You did good. Over 6,000 miles. My friend did the math and told me that we've driven a quarter of the distance around the planet with this road trip. That's just mind blown that we drove that much. But Bash wasn't so into making a video, but he still made one, a farewell video after finally ending this trip with this camper van. What was fun about the trip?
Just kick him into the bushes.
I had a blast. I don't care about my son anymore. It was fun. Something that he'll never forget, and I'll never forget. Then we headed down to Miami. See the fam. This was going to be a few days for the entire family to link up with my family. One of the most touching moments was when my mother got to see Allie for the first time in a very long time. I was tearing up as I watched it. It was beautiful. I'm glad I got footage of this reunion. But this time around, it was a lot of eating good food. We got to go to get some soul food. Brought the family to a restaurant I want to shout out called I Crave. It's a soul food restaurant in the heart of Miami, and I got some good food there. The kids got to eat some chicken and waffles and fish and waffles, and I got to eat some collard greens and some oxtail, man. I was home. We got to hang out with grandmother. We got to hang out with Daisy. Shout out to you, Daisy. It was so good to see you, too. Aunt Glenda. Definitely had to go see Moonk, who's my uncle, but a father figure to me. And he has a nail salon, so we went by there. We always go down there. We get us a nice conch salad. He makes some fantastic conch salads. And he was also doing some nails. He does eyebrows and lashes and all of that stuff. So if you ever go down to Miami, go check out Nails by Daddy down in Liberty City. And Allie got to get her nails done. So she was loving that, feeling all nice, get her nails done by Moonk and sitting there getting her nails to dry. She felt like a big girl. And of course, we had to make sure we got a hotel with a pool so we can do some swimming. So every chance we got, the kids really wanted to swim. And my Aunt Renee and grandmother and my mom all hung out by the pool with the kids. I played with them in the pool when I could. And we even got to go see my friend Eliza. Shout out to Eliza and the home family. We got to have some lunch with them, some good Cuban food. That's one of my favorite things about Miami. There's so much Caribbean influence that you get some of the food from the islands. You can get some soul food. You can get some traditional American cuisine. It feels like everything's in Miami. That's why I love being from there. But we spent a lot of time hanging out and just letting my kids get to know that side of the family, because in Sweden we don't get that so much. So that's what felt the best. I got to do a little work. I got to do some stand-up down in South Florida in Dania. My cousin, shout out to you, Chris Priester, is a hilarious comedian, and he was actually filming his special, and he let me be a part of that. I got to do some jokes to warm up for him. Really glad that I got to do that, and he was hilarious as always. So if you're in the South Florida area and you see Chris Priester, the teacher, on the bill, get some tickets and check him out. One thing I got to do that I'm proud of is interview my uncle Reggie. Always been an important member of the family. He served some time in prison, a lot of time in prison, 15 years actually, and he allowed me to interview him about life before and after prison and during prison. It meant a lot to me that he opened up to me like that. So I do have that on my podcast channel. I'll put the link here for you. You can see the interview with my Uncle Reggie about that. Thanks again, Reggie, for taking time and doing that with me. I even got to check his house out. He's got a nice home. So he took me on a nice tour of his place. And I'm glad that he's doing well, because for some people, when they get out, they turn the wrong way. And I'm really proud that my uncle is doing things the right way. I'm glad that my kids get to see this, or my family, and how diverse and fun and interesting everybody is, and to see these links to America. And that's what this trip was all about anyway. And Bash seems to really have embraced it, this side of his family. My mom made sure to give us some tips on Allie's hair. That's one thing that's part of the black culture. Make sure that hair is done right, especially when it comes to mixed kids, because you don't want the white mom to be there with the black child with messed up hair. We don't want to be that stereotype. So my mom giving us tips. Allie loved having Nana do her hair. Something about that just felt like home to me. I was glad that my mom did that for us. And then we ended it off taking the ladies out. I took my mother and grandmother out for one final dinner before our flight. It was nice to go to Red Lobster. That's a classic place for us. Normally go after church in the black community. At least where I'm from. You go to Red Lobster after church, have a good time. We tried to leave without any issue, but unfortunately, American Airlines has this thing they're doing now. I guess times are hard for them, where they're pretending that there's a bad weather, so they can cancel flights, and then they don't reimburse you or anything like that. They just really inconvenience you. Hey, that happened to us. They said, hey, the weather's bad, and then Sandra happened to be on a different flight on Delta, and she flew with no issues. What a coincidence that there was no weather for the flight flying the same travel plan as ours. Interesting. So we had to stay back an extra day, Bash and I, and we just spent that day hanging out with my mom and grandmother, and then we made our way back to Sweden the day after. So that was it for this trip. I was ready to get back to Sweden. Really appreciative of the opportunity to go and spend this time with Bash on a trip that we'll never forget. He got to see over 20 states, travel a quarter of the distance around the planet, and see the beauty of America that doesn't get talked about enough, and experience some things that some people never get to experience. We swam in the bottomless lakes, which I hadn't heard of before this trip. And we went to the Grand Canyon, where Bash did some push-ups, and we went to Yellowstone and were scared together. We camped and made a fire for the first time. So many memories that I'll never forget. Watching an alligator go after a marshmallow while a crazy Cajun man plays with it. seeing Chicago as a tourist for the first time, despite being there so many times, but taking my son to see the Bean and to see my uncle and my auntie cousin and all of the rest of the family that we got to see. Shout out to my cousin Kat. Shout out to Andre, her husband, and Kian and Sierra. I'll never forget this trip with Bash, and I really look forward to taking Allie on it in 3 years when she turns 8. This was better than I ever thought it could be. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed Bash and Daddy's road trip across the USA. I'll see you in 3 years when it's Allie's turn.
Bye-bye, Camperone. I love you.
Take care. Peace.